causing to stumble. Okay, let us read. If anyone causes one of these little ones, those who believe in me, to stumble, it would be better for them to have a large millstone hung around their neck and to be drowned in the depths of the sea. Woe to the world because of the things that cause people to stumble. Such things must come, but woe to the person through whom they come. If your hand or your foot causes you to stumble, cut it off, throw it away. It is better for you to enter life maimed or crippled than to have 2 hands or 2 feet and be thrown into eternal fire. And if your eye causes you to stumble, gouge it out and throw it away. It is better for you to enter life with one eye than to have 2 eyes and be thrown into the fire of hell. See that you do not despise one of these little ones. For I tell you that their angels in heaven always see the face of my Father in heaven. What do you think if a man owns 100 sheep and one of them wanders away? Will he not leave the 99 on the hills and go to look for the one that wandered off? And if he finds it, truly I tell you, he is happier about that one sheep than about the 99 that did not wander off. In the same way, your Father in heaven is not willing that any of these little ones should perish. Okay, quite a long, but this passage from verses 6 to 14 is talking about the attitude that is really essential for the community of faith. Okay, previously, what they were talking about, the disciples, they were wondering who will have the power or authority in the community after Jesus' death. So the disciples asked Jesus, who will be the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? And then Jesus said, if anyone who is like this little child, Jesus made a little child standing in the middle of the disciples, that one will enter the kingdom of heaven. Jesus taught them only those people who are recognizing themselves as the little children, who are considering themselves as the one who cannot survive for themselves. They don't depend on their own knowledge, their own authority, or their own experience. They're only depending on their fathers. Those are the little children. And then Jesus said, only these little children will have the kingdom of heaven. And now here, Jesus is talking about causing one of these little ones to stumble right here. Yeah. So Jesus said, who are the owners of the kingdom of God? The little ones, the little children who are recognizing themselves as the people who are only depending on God the Father. They can survive through the life which is provided from God the Father. So those are the owners of this community of faith. But what happens if there is a one who considers himself as an adult, as a great one, who is using his own knowledge, his own power, and his own authority? So the person who can consider that I can survive for myself, those kind of a person is in the middle of the community of faith. What happens? Jesus says there is a stumble. Okay. What does it mean to cause to stumble? That means someone which is in the community of faith causes the other to fall away from the community of faith, fall into apostasy. Okay, leaving the community of faith. It happens when a person who considers himself as an adult, the great one, not the little one. And then Jesus gives them the warning advanced warning, which is it would be better for them to have a large millstone hung around their neck and then to be thrown into the deep sea. Here is a large millstone. It's not the small stone used by women. It is the millstone turned by the donkeys at that time of Jesus. It's a huge stone. And then there was actually that kind of a punishment in Roman society, for the criminals, for example, who committed, treason. What is it? Betrayer, treason. Yeah, treason. Those people were punished with those kind of punishment. They were thrown into the deep sea, with a huge stone hung around their neck. Jesus is talking about it. And then more seriously, do you see that in verses 7 and 8, Jesus is talking about the eternal fire. It's not just thrown into the sea. He is talking about the punishment of eternal fire. Okay? So Jesus is pointing out how seriously we must regard this kind of sin to cause summon one of our brother and sister to be stumbled because of us. So Jesus is pointing out it is really, really serious sin. So we have to be really careful not to make our brother and sister to be fallen away. Yeah? And then here we have a little one. Jesus is talking about the little one. If you welcome a little one with my name, and then let's see. Here see. Jesus is talking about the little one. Who is this little one? This little one is the opposite to the person who considers himself as the great one. Little one, he is the one who considers himself as the child. So he cannot survive for himself. He's always providing the life and strength for his life from God the Father. So this one is welcoming other little ones. To welcome means to give hospitality, to show hospitality, and forgive and to share. So those people who are belonging to this community of faith should be those people who are the little ones, who are welcoming other little ones. Yeah. So Jesus is talking about what kind of community of faith God is expecting from us. And then the following story is a wandering sheep story, the parable of the wandering sheep. I believe Jesus is still talking about the same theme. Yeah, what kind of community of faith he is expecting. Here, this story, parable of the wandering sheep, this story is appearing in the Gospel of Luke as well. Gospel of Luke, the Luke chapter 15. But those two stories, the same parable of the wandering sheep appearing in the Gospel of Luke and Gospel of Matthew, those two stories are slightly different. In Luke's Gospel, Jesus was explaining to the Pharisees why he is seeking for the sinners. So in that story, this parable was talking about Jesus is saving the sinners in the world. But now here, this parable of the wandering sheep is located in the middle of Jesus' teaching about the community of faith. And then he's talking about this story to his disciples. So focus of this parable in the Matthew's gospel is on shepherding, pastoral focus. In the Luke's gospel, it was evangelism. The focus of the story was evangelism. But here, Jesus is talking about shepherding and pastoral care. Yeah? Some people are wondering what will happen after this shepherd left for the one lost sheep. What happens to the 99? Yeah? Some people are wondering. But usually, at the time of Jesus in the Palestine, shepherds were tending the sheep together. So when this shepherd, left for the lost sheep, the rest of the 99 sheep was entrusted to the other shepherds. Plus, do you see? He recognized one sheep was lost among hundreds of sheep, which means he counted all the sheep. So 99 sheep was already in the safe condition, we believe. They were brought into the safe place already. He counted the sheep and then he figured out one sheep was lost. So now he left for this lost sheep, right? And then here, shepherd, what he will do? He will do everything to find this lost sheep. It would take so many time, to find here and there. And then he was climbing up, and then he went down the, all down hills. He didn't give up. You see that? So here, Jesus is talking about the hearts of the Father. Hearts of the Father. He says, God is the Father who does not want even one sheep is lost. That is Father's heart. Father can never abandon his children. So the shepherds should have the exact same heart. Okay, so let us wrap up today's message. We are belonging to this community of faith. We are not all the perfect, righteous people. Even though we believe in Jesus, we became Christians, we still forgiven sinners. Forgiven sinners. So we are weak. We are still self-centered. So from time to time, we consider ourselves as birds. We are following our own ideas, our own thoughts, our own experiences. Jesus is saying that it is better to gouge out your eye or cut off your hand or foot. It will be better than losing one brother or sister from your community of faith. Jesus is talking that seriously, but it happens. Sometimes with our eyes, with our hands, or with our foot, through our words, through our facial expression, or through our actions, we hurt our brothers. And sometimes it causes our brothers and sisters to be fallen away from the community of faith. And then on the other side, on the other hand, we get hurt through our brothers and sisters. So it's not perfect community. But Jesus is talking about the heart of shepherds. We are weak, we are making mistakes, but what we have to have is the shepherd's heart. When we find out, when we